localchristianbookstore.com. localchristianbookstore.com.
Go to localchristianbookstore.com.
Together, we're hoping we can drive a bunch of new customers into your stores.
Ongoing journey that we want to be on with Christian retailers.
All right, so this is the last session of our workshop today, and one of the things that we really wanted to cover was we did a retailer survey. Many of you all may have participated in it because we really wanted to get to know more about who you are, what your needs were, and those kind of things. It was fun to go through it. There were about 30 questions. I'm not going through 30 questions. I pulled out the top 10 questions to look at and to just focus on the things that I thought were really important, the most important in knowledge in terms of running a Christian bookstore. I'm a former retailer, not a Christian bookstore. I did supermarkets primarily, but I have been in Christian bookstores selling to them, helping them for about 30 plus years. So these are my observations of the questions that most fit what were the important things here. That survey went 88 days, so about 3 months, 232 responses with almost a half hour per person. Thank you so much for participating in that. That, especially being right at Christmas time, the busiest time of year, I was skeptical as how many people we would have, and 232 was overwhelming given the load that you have at Christmas time and your willingness to do it. It's fantastic. So we are grateful for that. So the first area I wanted to look at is customer profile. You got to know your customer, and I thought those statistics would be interesting. As you can see, the average age for 79% of our customers is 41 to 60. Now, that's an important thing to keep in mind when you're buying. I mean, sure, you've got to have the children's product because grandmothers are in that group, but you also have to look at really that demographic in a lot of ways of who's actually in your store and really customizing it to what their needs are. Who are the churches that you're working with? Well, top 7 denominations in that survey made up 75%. So that's Baptist, Catholic, Lutheran, Methodist, Pentecostal, Presbyterian, and non-denominational denomination. So it is a denomination of its own as a non-denominational. That makes up 75% of it. So again, if you look theologically at all of these, that makes up the top 75%. And one of the things that I know some bookstores are fine with, others are not, is the Catholic bookstores. But they are part of that 75%, and it, depending on your how strongly you believe on whether Catholics, the whole faith, that's totally up to you. But just be aware that is one of the top ones, and there is a market for that. When we're looking at product mix, no surprise that Bibles was at the very top. It was at the very top. And these top 7 categories that were in the very long list of categories to rate made up a little over half. So you're looking at Bibles, children's books, Christian living, home decor, and gifts. So again, key thing with gifts, if you haven't checked out the video done by Christian Art Gifts, check it out because he had some great things to say. Journals, stationery and greeting cards, church supplies, and Bible study and reference. Those are your top 7 categories. So again, as you're looking at where to place your money, it's good to know the most popular things that people are coming in and looking for. More on product mix. How often do you update and refresh your product mix? Most people have weekly down, and I think that's really good. A lot of people I know with POS systems are actually doing it on a daily basis. And that's one of the things that's really good about Anchor is you can combine all of your inventory needs into one box, one order. And when it comes to time to process the payment and receive the boxes and all those things that are after the order, you only have one to deal with. So that's a good time savings from that perspective as well. So regular ordering is definitely better than sporadically, for sure. The other thing I think is important, and we'll get into this more, is new products. So deciding on new products, that one interested me. I noticed that the biggest category was other in this, but gut feeling was in there, sales trends was in there, request was probably one of the bigger ones. I was surprised that the publisher recommendations were only 9%. And here's why. I'm not saying that you have to buy everything the publisher tells you. Certainly not. But what I would say is when they tell you what their priorities are, they're probably telling you where they're going to be pouring their money into. Coming from a publishing background, I know that's true. So if they're pointing out 3 things that they're really investing in, you probably should have that in your store. It doesn't have to be an end cap. It doesn't have to be 6 or 8 copies. But have a smattering of them because they're going to know about it, because probably if it's going to show up in a catalog or something within the Christian industry, it's going to be everywhere else too. So it's really important to look at new products as being very valuable. The other thing is it's really important to keep your store relevant to the culture and to the current time. If there's a popular book out and you don't have it, you do that a couple times, they're not going to be shopping you anymore. And so that's a thing that's really important with your product mix. Keep it new, keep it fresh. We're going to look a little bit at emails and currently sending emails. The biggest part in there was, the biggest part in there, was yes, occasionally. We did have people who sent them out multiple times a week. That was a small amount. We also had some weekly. 19% said no, but we're going to start. We want to start. And the second highest, or tied for the highest, was no, and I don't want to do that really. So again, this shouldn't be your primary form of marketing. It's important though. A catalog comes in and it's sitting on their coffee table for a longer period of time. An email lasts in an inbox pretty short amount of time. But it's repeat impressions that this provides. It's a cost-effective way to get your customers through email. The rule of thumb is 7 impressions. 7 impressions lead to a sale. Email is a very important one of those impressions, and a couple emails can make it 2 impressions. So it should not ever overlook. That. A little bit more on marketing is social media posting. The bulk, 52%, more than half say occasionally. 20% says daily, and then on down. But again, social media is another impression. It's not that expensive to do. You get a following and you put it on there. Years in business. So we have an experienced group of retailers out there. 85% have been in business 10 years or longer. And that's amazing. There's a lot of great experience with that. 7% between 5 and 10 years, 6% 1 to 5 years, 1% less than a year. What I would say to everybody in that 85 percentile, and I think that's some of what happens here at CPE, is the mentoring process. It's so important for all of you seasoned retailers to take stores on and mentor them along the way. That's how they get better. That's how you challenge them to become even better. And I think that taking that mentoring role is vitally important to Christian retail. They've got to keep on carrying the banner. This may be the most important question that we had. How can Anchor serve you better? This one was a harder one to put together because it was an open-ended question. So I had to kind of read through everything and come up with some boxes to see what everything looked like, and kind of categorize them into some, make some generalities. The thing that surprised, I thought the biggest one was going to be discount. I was surprised that it was not discount. Discount was number 2. And I want to assure you we're working on that. I've got probably a series of 30 meetings trying to get a little bit better discount so that we can take that and pass it on to you. We understand that. We hear that loud and clear. But the one that was really kind of humbling to look at was 62 of the people, of the recipients, said, we wouldn't change anything. We don't really have a problem with anything you're doing. You're a blessing. I mean, all kind of nice things. And that says the history of Anchor, the reputation of Anchor, and I'm grateful to be here because I love being with a company like that. On down, so we had, work on new releases, and that's one of the things I do want to work on. I saw a couple of them saying knowing about new releases. One of my roles, one of the hats I wear, is to work on the trade marketing pieces. And I think when you look in the March Retail Navigator, you're going to see something a little different. You may not have seen it before. We've got about, I don't know if it's going to come out to 2 or 3 pages or what the designer ends up with, but we have a conglomeration of just one-off books that are being used in the Word Alive catalog up in Canada. They're priority titles for these companies. Again, those are the titles they were putting money into. And we're alerting you to these books to look at. And so that's one of the things that I'm working on, is better communication for large and small publishers alike. And that's part of all the meetings that we're talking about now, so that we can do that more and more and more. So I'm going to end with this, and you saw this in the beginning. We are looking at how to reinvent the model of Anchor Distributors. We love that everybody loves us, and that we had such a good rating up front with people saying, you're doing a great job. But we feel like we can do better. And so what we're doing is we're giving a lot more options for your participation in some programs. Anchor Up promotions. This makes your store look bigger than it is. I don't know how many retailers I had talk about the Anchor Up promotions, that having a giveaway in a little store like that just made them look bigger to their customers. It's no cost, no entry fee, just buy the product. That's all we ask. We do the rest. We equip you with a point of purchase kit that's fantastic. A lot of online marketing that helps that. So Anchor Up promotions is one. Email campaign is something else we're working on. Right now we just went through our first beta test, and that's off and running. We are doing it with the trade accounts, but consumer is a little bit different, and we will be getting in that as we go along. Websites we've been doing for a while, no charge to you for that. That gives you your online presence, which is important. Theme displays. We're going to be doing theme displays. They're stand-up cardboard displays, and they will be seasonal, 4, 5, 6 a year, whatever seems to make sense. Just quick in and out with those. New product offerings. That's part of what I was talking about earlier. We want to not only let you know it's there, but we want to come up with some other ways to help you out with those. better pricing options. That's part of what I was talking about earlier with working towards discounts. A loyalty program. Loyalty programs are very popular, and I don't follow every loyalty program with every company I deal with, but you can bet I follow the loyalty program with Dunkin' Donuts because I want my free coffee. And so it's my favorite coffee. It's going to work for some people. It's not going to work for others, but it's a way of retaining customers. And so we are developing that. We are about a year in on an advisory board because we want to be collaborative with the retailers. We have about a dozen retailers that meet every other month. We have different things that we talk about each time. We'll change the board. We'll shuffle the deck a little bit after a year. We're going to add a couple Canadian stores to the mix as well. And the advisory board has really given us some good feedback, some cases, some good ideas. In other cases, they tell us we're heading in the right direction with a program that we may be doing, and that's equally important. And the last thing on this list is price drop clearances. We take inventory that maybe has seen its better day, and we give the retailer a much better price on it, and you can get a good discount on that, a very good discount on that, so that you can pass that on to your customers. And again, it gives your customers something to come in and look at as well. That's pretty much the message for today. And again, this is the final one for the day. So thank you all for viewing these at home, or everybody who has been in this room. And thank you, and have a great rest of the week.